So I'm hearing God cannot ask for anything more when it comes to you. Like, you are perfect in God's eyes. Even with your flaws, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter because God understands, yeah, when we come here, we are born into sin. And we have to figure out how to navigate our own life in such a way where we are not devoured by sinful ways of the world. And so it's like you've chosen to stay away from things that you know equate to death. Like, you've chosen to. And that maybe there was a time where you were a little daredevilish. You know, maybe there was a time where you did some things that weren't great, but you're not. You don't have to think that God is targeting you for that and so like disappointed in you that God doesn't see the best in you. God always sees the best in you and will teach you how to see the best in you as well. The main thing that keeps you away from growth is you having self-defeating thoughts. We do that to ourselves. And many times we don't realize that we're doing that. But when you start to hold on to self-defeat in such a way, you count yourself out before you even get to a place. You can't even get anywhere because you keep counting yourself out. Every time you turn around, like, you're saying something negative about yourself. Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. You're putting a spell on yourself. Every time you tell yourself you can't do something, or you call yourself out your name, disrespect yourself like you somebody in the street that you dislike, you affect yourself and you curse yourself. Don't curse yourself just because you see other people do it. You don't have to do what they do. You do what you do. You do what you feel is right. The more you speak life into yourself, the better you will feel. You will always feel good when you speak life into your life. When you speak life into your soul. I heard your soul is dying to live. Dang, that's kind of rough. But I feel it though. Your soul is dying to live. You remember when I always talk about the soul's cry? Your soul is dying to live. When you think about that, just let it marinate for a second. Your soul is dying to live. And it's making me think about a saying that I heard before. Jesus lived to die. We all do that because we end up dying, but we still live. Don't forget that part, right? We still live on. After we're no more here, we are somewhere else. Okay? So we can't forget about that part. But your soul is dying to live makes me think about the fact that there's many times in life where we actually choose death. We choose the route of death because it's popping, you know. I know it's uncomfortable when I said it, but it's popular. Let me put it like that. It's popular in society to live your life towards death, towards disease, towards addictions, all types, so many. This is what is pushed in our faces. Every day. Even in our children's faces. This is why we must explain to our kids what's really going on in the world so that they know from the perspective, from God's perspective, from the God mind place, you know, from God's perspective. We must know what's going on in the world. If you don't know what's going on around you from God's perspective, you can have a really hard time here. Very hard time. When you connect with your higher self and that God mind, things that scare others, you're going to see it as, what's the word I want to use? Ways to destroy the problem. Like, you're going to see things from a different perspective. And then you also see an opportunity to rebuild. You see reconstruction. That's what you see when you are thinking from God's mind. Any thought that is fear-based is not real. It's just an illusion so that you won't move into the direction that is meant for you to move into. That's all it is. It's a way to deter you from your destined place. So your soul is dying to live. In life, we go through these phases of the phoenix where there's a death and a rebirth over and over again in our life. And we keep growing every time we shed our skin like a snake. Every time we shed our skin like a snake, our soul, it's almost like it's reminding me of like a ball that's a puzzle. I don't know how to explain what I'm thinking. And there's something that I saw in a movie before, and it was like this cube, and it kept on changing. And when the cube would change, what movie was that? I don't even remember. But the cube was changing, and when it changed, it like released a demon or something. Okay, I'm trying to bring it back. Okay, because I'll forget. Now, it's making me think about your soul being in a trap, right? And in my mind, this trap is a sphere, and it has the same ability to change patterns on the outside. And it's like each time we go through a death and a rebirth in a phase in our life, this trap continues to change position like a puzzle piece, and it releases a demon. You know how people say you gotta fight your demons? Each time we grow and we go through a death and rebirth, a demon leaves from our soul because it was trying to hold on to our soul, trying to trap it. But every time you allow yourself to grow, a demon flees away because there's no space for them anymore, because you started to fill yourself up with God's mind, with God's energy. So then demons start to flee. They can't be around you because now you know them. Demons can only stick around when you don't know that they're there. But when you recognize them, you destroy them. When you recognize the demon, you destroy them because you know that it's foreign. It's not natural. It's unnatural. Okay. And then eventually, the more you go through the death and rebirth process, that soul trap keeps on unlocking. It keeps unlocking and it keeps on changing. And it's like every time the trap, it gets thinner. It gets thinner to the point where your soul is free. And then you are now in divine alignment. Your soul is dying to live. Spirit. This is why I'm so in love. I'm so in love. I'm so in love. It's like poetry. It's like a beautiful story of our life. Of our life. Why did I say it like that? Of our lives. And it's so challenging, but it is so beautiful at the same time. How could that be? But it is. It just sounds so contradicting and crazy. But our lives are so crazy and so beautiful. Crazy beautiful is what we have to deal with in life. But once you get to the beautiful, it just gets more beautiful. Even through trial and error and new beautiful problems or issues or circumstances, your outlook is so different and it's so healthy that you don't take on challenges the same way. You don't look at things from such a low way of thinking to where you like keep complaining, or your method to deal with situations that can be challenging changes. You just become more bold and more ready for it. It's like you just be ready. You just be ready, like on on set. You ready on set. On go. You ready on set? I like that. Ready on set. On set? It's making me think about like a movie on set. Where are the movies that are like that talk about this part? Like the real, like how, like what we go through in life. You know which was a good movie that was like that? The Pursuit of Happiness. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but it was with Will Smith and his son, Jaden. That movie showed this raw authenticity about true struggle in life that many people go through, but they would be like very embarrassed to even talk about, or just like are so traumatized by that they don't even want to look at it. But it's like many of us go through so much, and a lot of times it's not even off the strength of us so much. It's the environment that we were in and the choices of our parents. The choices of our parents. Because I can attest to that. My parents have made some crazy decisions that didn't make any sense. And I was affected by it. I had no control over what, they did, but I was affected by it. As many children are affected by their parents' decisions. If there's someone's parents who have chosen to be drug addicts, the child suffers from that very much so. And there's not a child in the world that I believe could actually say that they wanted to go through those things that they had to go through from having parents that weren't necessarily there for them. And they didn't even have to, it doesn't even have to be a thing where there was drugs involved. Sometimes parents just go missing, man. Like, where you go? What even happened? There's times in life as a child where things go down and you don't know the answer until you know. But then sometimes you still don't know, not unless somebody actually says certain things, and then memories come back and you're like, oh, and then you start filling in voids that were just there because it's not talked about. And then when you want to talk about it, they don't want to talk about it. So it gets confusing. It gets very, very confusing. But it's just life, and it's growth. It shows the truth about the struggle. Like, the more people could see themselves in a situation, the more they will be able to relate to it and be able to get a message from it. And I feel like these are the types of movies that are needed. These are the types of cartoons that are needed. Things that actually mean something. Things that will stick to a person. Movies stay around for a long time. Books, they stay around for a long time. These are the things we need to start focusing on. The things that stay around for a long time. Recordings stay around for a long time. When I'm not here anymore, you can still see me. You can find me on YouTube. Like, if YouTube is still around, hopefully it'll be here for our future babies so they can listen to us. Just like we see. Well, I'm sure it will be around. I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. But just like how we see people that we look up to from our past, we could find them on YouTube. It's like a visual dictionary, a visual biography, a visual book. Yeah. But life is full of lessons, very hard ones. And the more we are aware of this and accept it and just know what it is and then just activate and go through it, the quicker you can get to the beauty of life, as opposed to dwelling in the darkness and not finding a way out of it, and not realizing that there's purpose in the dark, you know. So I think that's it for this reading. I hope this reading has helped you to see your life in a different way, and just helped you to be more accepting of the difficult times in life, because they're a part of your soul's growth, and they're like a part of the way to release your soul from the trap. Alright? Alright. Everything you do, do it with love. Always remember the creator is in you, the magic is too, because you're a magic. I'll see you later.